Here we are. Hello and welcome. This is episode 19 of What's Up, Spirit. I'm Sheri Hauser, Love Ambassador at the Victoria Truth Center, here with Reverend Lesia. Rev
Hi.
Lesia.
Hi. Love Ambassador Sheri. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
So, what's up, Spirit?
Oh gosh, what is up, Spirit? Well, before I launch into what is up, let me just say that I am launching from Brentwood Bay, which is close to the Sartlip Nation, the Wasanich speaking peoples, and the land of the emerging maples. And I'm just so grateful to be able to be here on these lands that have been stewarded for so long, so intentionally, so purposefully, with so much care, knowing that, now there's this openness of like, hey, let's co-create, let's live, let's breathe, let's play together on these incredible, amazing lands. And I know that you're coming from a slightly different space in Victoria. So where are you coming from?
The land of the Lekwungen speaking people, known as the Esquimalt and Songhees Nation.
Yeah, so
Yes.
grateful to be able to do what we're doing right here, right now, to engage with everyone who's joining us online. Hi, Scott. So, what is up? You're asking me. Well, what do I choose? Um, I think I'm going to start with still basking in the love and connection and fun and joy and celebration of last night's Elevate,
Oh,
where, oh my gosh, it was such a beautiful crowd. The music, there were some new arrangements that were happening with the tunes that we had been listening to and singing for this whole month of faith. That's been our theme. And there was just something extra in the air yesterday as far as energy and connection and creativity and love. And it just everything and everyone felt so good and so present. And it was just such a joy to be in the company of everyone and to just connect in the ways that we did yesterday. So still really feeling that deliciousness and basking in all of that wonderfulness and love from last night. And otherwise, today, whoo, did I have a morning? Started off with meditation, which I always start off with, and then moving into some affirmative prayer for the people who require and request prayer. And so that was about an hour and a half of focused, intentional work. And then shortly after that, went into a friends and family breath jam with Evolve Well. And the journey that we did today was a 45-minute long journey, which took me places I did not expect to go at that time. And so it was really cool to, first of all, be able to keep up with the breath because for about 5 weeks, I was navigating what turned out to be whooping cough. And so just this not being able to breathe the way that I would like to breathe, not being able to, receive or let go or just move, the way that I'm used to moving because breath is so integral to our beingness. Um, to find that I could go and keep up with, all of the breath work today was fantastic. But what was so cool and trippy was this expansive experience that I had of just being completely pulled out of my body as I could see these colors and waves and sort of like, ocean cosmic waves, kaleidoscopic, slightly textured, but so fluid at the same time, all just kind of happening without any real concrete images or anything that I could recognize. But this feeling of expansion, this feeling of no thingness and connectivity at the same time. And then at one point, this shift happening where I became so aware of this awareness that was experiencing what I was experiencing, that was witnessing, that was observing what I was experiencing, and just having this thought of like, okay, what's experiencing this? Like who's having this experience? Who's witnessing this? It was just so big. And I've had experiences like this before, but this was just like so there. And it just really was a visceral reminder of, I am so much more than this. You know, as much as I enjoy this, as much as I revel in this, as much as I appreciate the five senses through which I can experience and create my life, that there is something ineffable and ethereal and unexplainable and untouchable that is the truth of who I am. And I feel like I got closer to that today. And so it was just it was such a profound experience to have, to the point where when we were being called back into the Zoom room, I could hear that's what was happening. And I couldn't. I was just, I'm like, no, this is where I want to hang out for a while. And eventually thought, okay, maybe I should come back just to say goodbye. And my arms wouldn't move. Like and I'm like, okay, let's just go with it. And so yeah, for all of the feeling sick and limited and not being able to use my body the way I wanted to use my body for the last several weeks, to have that experience today of complete freedom and boundlessness and expanse and feeling unlimited was fantastic.
Wow. There's so much I want to comment on with that. My goodness, Spirit, there is a lot up with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what a delight to meet you here and to get to receive yeah, your experience of being you right now. I have also many times joined the Evolve Well breathwork jam. Um, and I have also not wanted to come back. And if it wasn't for my partner, bringing us back into the Zoom room where there is a check-in, I just would have stayed in the other realm that you can go to with deep breath work, into this expanded state of consciousness. It's I didn't know it was accessible through breath work either. And find it quite liberating. And it doesn't happen every time. But I was relating to the part where you said, and I wanted to explore this just a minute before we end our episode, this idea of who is experiencing this? Who is the consciousness experiencing this? So, because at this point, you're beyond yourself
Mm-hmm.
in the breath work, in the ceremony of self breathing into more. And so I'm curious, like, what do you think about this question that you've asked? Who is experiencing the what? The other realm?
Well, that is such an interesting question, and that could be a series of podcasts all on its own. And so sort of
Yes.
the cut and dry or intellectual answer that I can give from the training that I have been immersed or was immersed in is that it is spirit fulfilling itself in, through, and as us. And just more recently, like from yesterday morning, being in this new class that I'm taking with author, and I don't even know what to call him, modern day mystic and translator of Jesus's teachings from Aramaic, Neil Douglas Klotz, is this idea that there's only, and I mean, I say this, there's only one thing going on, but he said there's only one breath. Spirit, God. Actually, from Aramaic, it trends more closer to reality, that there's just one reality that is happening, that we're all a part of. But this idea of this being there, one eternal breath, and that this breath breathes itself into these little breaths, that us, and then holds that breath, which is our lifetime experienced. And as that breath is let go, that's when we expire, that's when we die. And the big breath returns back to this incredible, amazing, huge breath. And that's what I feel I was experiencing today. I was becoming more like in an embodied way aware of, that there is this, bigger, pure beingness, call it consciousness, call it God, call it reality, call it breath, whatever it is that works for you, and that it is moving in, through, and as me. And that's my life experience that I get to, manage, coordinate, navigate in some way. But that ultimately it's this breath, it's this energy that is just doing its thing, having its way, enjoying itself, fulfilling itself in, through, and as everyone and everything.
Mm.
And so having that experience today and being so much more palpably aware of it was like, okay, like that's better than any inspirational talk or any book or any workshop or whatever. And like you just said, all through focused intentional breath work, which we all have access to, right? We're all breathing, we're all being breathed. And so super excited to bring some 90 breath work to VTC so that we can dive into this, expanded realm together.
I know you are, and it's going to be offered this summer. So for any of our regular watchers, stay tuned for announcements about 90 breathwork being facilitated in Victoria at the True Center by Rev Lesia. It's going to be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite phrase from what you just said was the breath, like the life enjoying itself.
Mm.
And I love it when breathwork facilitators like Alex King Harris will talk about the deliciousness of the breath, like the luxury of the breath, when we allow ourselves to savor, like really feel and become conscious of every part of our body that is expanding to receive the air, the feeling in our nostrils, the like following it, into down our throat, into our lungs, and expanding our chest and our belly, and following the exhale, all of that. And even the holding of the breath at the top and lifting up of that energy from our seat, from our root chakra, up our spine, pausing in our heart, our throat, feeling it coming up into our pineal gland. And right. And as you're holding that breath up at the top, picturing this light traveling up your body as breath and holding it up here, connecting you to the sky, that is powerful medicine.
Yeah.
You said aware of the awareness earlier. And I love tuning in to the awareness. Like, what am I aware of? What am I aware of right now that is happening, that my body is doing automatically? And just like you spoke about last night, how exquisite is it to sink into the present moment with the idea that where I am is exactly where I need to be.
And you know what? When I watched part of the recording of the Neil Douglas Neil Douglas Klotz's recording of yesterday's class, he uses the word exactly as he's talking about the words in the chanting that we're doing. And he says, I will speak more to the word exactly in the second module. And I didn't even hear that yesterday when, I was in class. And the whole talk that I did was, yeah, I am. Exactly.
Yep. You are exactly whoever it is you think you are, or whatever it is you think you are. Yeah. Thank you for that. Golden moments. I'll highly encourage any of our viewers of What's Up Spirit to check out last night's talk, which is May 29th. And so you'll find that on our YouTube channel, which we'll link below in the comments. We've also recently launched on Instagram and TikTok. So if those are platforms that you tend to scroll through for inspiration, Rev Lesia will be populating our channels, our VTC channel, with more little nuggets of wisdom from her various talks on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights. You can learn more about our schedule at victoriatruecenter.org.
Woo!
Thank you all for tuning in to episode 19. We're going to be changing our format a little as we launch episode 20. So more coming. Stay tuned.
Bye, everyone.